For years of my life, I was stuck not knowing whether or not I believe in Islam anymore because the world around me, especially living in a Western country, had just damaged my iman so much over time. I was lost for years trying to seek guidance from all these different sources, going to workshops, asking questions to specific people of knowledge, and all these things would help for a bit, but they would never get my iman to the level of innocent childhood belief that I had when I was a kid. You know that level of iman that you have when you're a kid that's impenetrable? You just know for certain 100% that after you die you're gonna go to either heaven or na'udhu billah, hell. But that belief, I thought, was gone forever. That is all until I made a specific dua and Allah responded with the gift that I'm going to give you today. In this guide, I'm going to show you exactly how I learned Arabic in a matter of months. It honestly took me less than a year to get my Arabic to a level where I could have conversations, I could read and understand the Quran from a level where before I couldn't even understand 10%, 5% of the Quran even when I was reading it, and no way could I hold a conversation with a person who spoke Arabic. However, in this guide, I'm going to condense that down to 3 months because it is 100% possible to do all I did in 3 months with the proper guidance. I'm going to preface this by saying if you can read the Quran in Arabic but you struggle to understand pretty much any of it, then this guide is exactly for you. But if you're someone who still struggles to read the Arabic of the Quran, I'd recommend taking one more step that I'll mention afterwards. But you can still get some value out of this guide. Now, the first thing before you take any action is what I call the mindset shift. This is incredibly important because for some reason most people have this idea that learning a language is a massively daunting and almost impossible task. When they come across people who can speak 2 or 3 languages, only one more than they can, they lose their minds. They think it's impossible. And chances are, if you're watching this, you probably had this belief instilled in you as well. You think Arabic is hard, you think learning a language is hard, which is why you clicked here. And I completely understand that. People have convinced everyone that to learn Arabic, you need to attend like an Islamic university, you need to have a degree, you need to do this and that, you need to learn from qualified people, and it's such a whole big, it's such a difficult road to go down. So most people never end up taking any action at all. But honestly, personally, I don't care about that. I think you should just do something if you want to do it because the internet is there, and so what if you get 1% wrong? At least you will learn 99%. So the mindset shift is just ignore the opinions of others and just learn. Alright, let's get into the actual learning. Now, as I said, if you can't read the Arabic of the Quran, what you should first do is try to find some one-on-one, this is very important, one-on-one guidance with someone who can teach you that. I'm also planning on releasing a free course on that in my free community, but that is something that you need to do beforehand because everything else is smooth sailing. This is just the hardest part where it's just learning the letters and reading it. Now, for everyone else, this is going to be your number one focus, vocabulary. Forget everything else. All you are going to focus on is vocabulary. You're going to absorb a new word every day, every single day. You see, every language is just made up of words. The grammar is secondary. The words are the most important thing. If you learn a word every single day of Arabic, if you add a word to your list of words in Arabic, just any word, it really doesn't matter. If you just pick up a word every day, within a year, you will have not 365 words, but most likely 600 plus words, because as you learn a word, you accidentally pick up on another few, and this is especially true in Arabic, where different words all have root letters. So when you know one thing, you know 10 other things, which is also the beauty of Arabic. So this is going to be your focus every day. You can just turn off your brain when it comes to everything else for now. Grammar, feminine, masculine, pronouns, everything else. Just focus on words. I remember I took this so seriously in my first year or 2 of learning Arabic. Right behind me there's a wall which is covered with different words in Arabic. That system taught me maybe a couple hundred words. Then I also used it before that write in my journal, which also taught me a few more hundred words. But most importantly, I just used to learn a word every day. That's all I did. Even today, I've started doing that again, where I just learn a new word every day, because there are millions of words to know, but if you can know just a few thousand, you will be ahead of everyone. And a few thousand seems like a lot. Trust me, it isn't. Now, after you start picking up words, you're going to start noticing grammar. And this is where you can start to learn a bit of grammar. What I would highly recommend is you use different applications like Duolingo. And I know Duolingo is a bit of a joke app, but Duolingo, Kalam, these are all apps where Arabic kind of becomes like an addictive thing to learn, because these apps are designed to keep you hooked, right? And in most cases that's a bad thing. In this case, it's a good thing. But yeah, again, you're going to be learning grammar, but passively. If you overload yourself with grammar, you're going to get confused. So the most important thing at this stage is to start using your Arabic. Become passionate about it. Start speaking Arabic to yourself. Like, I know it sounds weird. I used to do this. I remember specifically one time I was sick at home, and it was like summertime and no one was home pretty much. And it was a hot day. I was sick, but I was laying there on my bed for like half an hour just speaking in Arabic, closing my eyes, trying to remember the words on my wall, opening them, checking if I was right, forming sentences, recording myself, making fake podcasts. That's how obsessed you need to get with learning Arabic, because you will learn so fast that way. It is unbelievable. You can beat people who dedicate days of their week learning Arabic but aren't passionate about it by you just doing that once a week. I used to be so obsessed with Duolingo. I used to light up to the idea of speaking to an Arab person in Arabic. Everything about Arabic would just make me excited. Another thing I did, I'd watch YouTube videos as if I was an Arab. I would try to understand the Arabic. I'd used to watch this podcast, I'll probably link it below as well. But I would try to watch it as if I was already an Arab. If I didn't understand it, sure, I would put on the subtitles, but I would, if there was a new word, again, I would just write it down and remember it. One word, just one word a day. If you overload yourself, you might get burnt out. But when you're obsessed, it's unlikely you're gonna get burnt out anyways. Remaining consistent on learning Arabic also becomes a lot easier if you're surrounded by people that have the same goal, which you can just do by joining the free community at the bottom. And the next thing you're gonna do is actually polish up your grammar. You want to start going through a book like maybe Medina Reader or some kind of quality book that will take you through what step by step how words change based on grammar, based on ownership and position and past tense, future tense, all this stuff. Slowly you'll start picking up on it. You'll notice all the patterns, and again, it will just become so easy and it will just be cemented in your mind. And you need to remember, you don't need to get it right every time at the start. There are so many people I've met, so many Arabs I've met that don't even know the grammar of their own language. Most Arabs are worse at Arabic than you will be in 3 months of learning the grammar and vocabulary. So as long as you make some sort of consistent effort, I promise you that's all it will take for you to polish up your grammar. And 3 months, I'm telling you, 3 months, and you will be in such a better position in terms of Arabic than you are now. All you need to do is follow the steps I'm taking, join the free community. That's it. I hope you found some value from this video, inshallah, and I'll see you in the next one.